Hey, what's going on, y'all? Back with Point of View. And of course, we are joined by Ghost from Akron. Uh, well, today, of course, we're talking about news concerning Akron. This first piece is about a matter concerning the school board. What's going on here, Ghost? Break it down for us.
This looks like when the teachers were planning on striking, which they I guess came up to some type of agreement. We still don't know what this agreement is about as of yet. But
Mm,
it's been a lot of stuff going on here in Akron, with our schools and our teachers, safety concerns, just everything. I can't explain it no more. But this is at a board meeting. It looks like, with our some of our teachers and our teacher unions, and because our teachers were going on strike due to not feeling safe in our schools because of gun violence. A couple of kids got stabbed. Everything is going on in our
oh
bathroom.
wow.
A couple of high schools, even for our students, our kids are scared even to go to school. So I'm hoping and praying for our teachers and our kids to where they when they in school now, whatever they came up with, that the teachers and the children are starting to feel safe.
Hmm.
So that
Wow.
part.
Yeah. So I didn't. Go ahead.
I said, so this is the meeting that you're showing that with the teachers and the student union. But another thing that's going on is that we're dealing with racism. I watched the video. I don't know if you got that video or not. And I guess this is a little kid talking about how they were feeling too as far as the safety of their school. But there's a dad
Mhm.
who spoke out that that I had sent, that I think I sent the clip to you as well, to where
Yes.
we're dealing with racism in our school. And the school that I'm discussing is a school, it's like a college prep school. It's still with Akron Public Schools, and it's called STEM. And his dad was stating that how his son was invited to a racial hate group. And to my understanding, I think he put in a couple of complaints. We're still on standby with that. So it's a lot of standbys with Akron Public Schools, which a lot of parents don't like. We don't want to be on standby. We want resolutions and for it
I'm
to be
sorry.
solved.
I'm having a little technical difficulties with the laptop. I'm trying to pull up the interview that was done with what's his name, Martel.
Yeah, I think his name is
Tell me a
Markel.
little bit about that.
He did a live, and that's when he was talking about STEM and how his son was invited to this racial type of hate group. I was trying to research this group to see if I can find resources. I didn't get to find it on Facebook. I'm praying to God that we can be able to have more of a discussion with him. But to my understanding, he put in a couple of complaints. I think it's a couple of people that might be helping him with this matter when it comes down to this particular school. And I'm just not going to say just this particular school because it could be happening in all the schools and we're not informed about it. So I'm hoping that, our superintendent,
Right.
Miss Mack, as well as a couple of our council members and the rest of the board education would step it up and investigate and make sure that racism and discrimination is not going on in none of our Akron public schools. So, his, I'm being told, or I think I also heard that his this group of kids had told his son that they hate his dad and stuff like that because his dad is bringing awareness to it. But racism is still going on, and the sad part about it, our kids are now discovering,
So
especially
let me cut straight to the chase.
yeah, there you go.
Mhm. Found
Let's
it.
hear you put your yes.
My name is Marco Lari, father of Elon Lari. and my son goes to STEM Middle School here in Akron, Ohio. The situation at hand occurred on Christmas. We didn't find out about it until a few days after Christmas. But what happened on Christmas was my son finally got his tablet. He didn't have it for a while, so we allowed him to use it. And he was sent an invitation, or he was added to a group on Discord. The group that we're talking about is called Hate Niggers. All
Wow.
right. The group was filled with some kids that goes to STEM Academy and a few that does not go to STEM Academy. But the group was called Hate Niggers with an M. A few days after Christmas, me and my wife saw some of these notifications pop up on my son's tablet. So that prompted us to go into this group called Hate Niggers and see what was going on. When we got into the group and we started reading through some of the ignorant comments and statements, we saw that our son said, "Stop adding me to this group, please. This group is racist." They continued to keep adding my son to the group. And when we went through this group chat, what we saw was ridiculous. We saw these kids saying things like hate niggers, hate naggers, spelling it in different ways. They have slaves, they whip their slaves, they rape their slaves. And they also said something about my big titty slave. So it's so many different things going on in this group. They said things about Asian people, so that's Asian hate. They had different child sex things that they was posting, young people twerking naked. And it was just very, very disturbing to see that my son was introduced to a group like this. So that had me and my wife sit down with our son and ask, is these things going on in the school? And to my surprise, it was. He informed me that it is so many kids in his school saying different variation of the N word that it's uncomfortable for him to stand his ground.
Wow.
He said it's at least 15 to 20 kids that just go around antagonizing other kids and disrupting them in class or at the lunch table. And it's got to the point where it's just so unbearable and it's overwhelming for him. Okay. He said some of these kids that called him out his name, referred him to being a monkey and things like that. Very disturbing things. So, like any other parent, me and my wife scheduled an appointment with the principal and the vice principal. Thursday, my wife and her father went to the school and showed the vice principal the images from this group chat. I did not go this day. My wife and my father in law went. My wife told me that she felt no fire lit. She felt as if they were very passive, a little too passive for the seriousness at hand.
Yeah, and
Wow. Is
that is
that's
disturbing
all the video?
because as parents, and I know Janta, you don't have no children right now, but I don't know if you ever dealt with a lot of racism and growing up, but I have, and
Hmm.
to be called all types of different names, and I could just imagine how this kid feels or what not to feel, you know, um, basically unwanted in his own school where his parents, put him thinking that this was a good school because of the fact that it is a college prep school. He had to write an essay to get in the school. This, our college prep classes or schools here, It's not easy to get in some of these schools. You know what I'm saying? You got to be equipped to get into them. And to hear that this is going on in our college prep classes and our college prep schools, it is crazy. I thought, the chaos was more so in the actual public schools, but
Nah, I beg to differ. I'm not surprised by this because this is gatekeeping. They don't want us to succeed. They don't want us to be educated. So as soon as they see any indication of that, it's insulting to them. So they have to do their reaction is to act in this manner and antagonize us to bring us down. Just like Tulsa.
all right,
They were jealous that we were making more money than them. So what they do? They burned it down, and they felt justified in doing so.
right,
This is the same kind of thing, you know. It's sad. It's unfortunate. It's really messed up. But for me personally, I expect it. Now, as far as going to the principal and vice principal, I expected no sort of help whatsoever. This requires class suit action. This requires law action. Taking
right.
them to That's the only way anything's going to change with this situation.
Exactly. And I totally agree is that, um, it's time to take all types of action against, the schools. And I normally don't go after, lawsuits when it comes down to the school districts. But I think it's time now that parents end up having to do that because we want our children to have the best education. Drop off our kids, and I'm about to get into another couple situations as well. When we drop off our kids, trusting them with our children as if it was their own, whether they have kids or not. We're
Right.
trusting them. We're putting when we drop them off and we're going to work or going to school or if just coming home or whatever the situation might be, we're placing a lot of trust in schools. And I question it now. Can I really trust schools? What happened with my situation, and I just read an article about another situation to where an autistic, disabled child walked out of her school. Luckily, she was found safe. With my situation, my child didn't walk out. This was a kindergarten that walked out, but my daughter is in the first grade, and she got punished for eating chips. A bag of, actually, not even a bag of chips, 8 chips in class at the end of the day. And she ended up having a meltdown because this substitute decided to punish her by taking her recess away the next day. And she told my daughter that she was going to take her recess away because she got caught eating chips and everything else. It's the end of the day. Why are these kids
Right.
being punished? Come to find out, I'm finding out that these kids are eating at, not only do they eat at like around 7:45, 8:15 for breakfast, but then they turn around a couple of hours later around 10:30, 11 o'clock, they're eating lunch. That's a little early if you want to keep it real to eat lunch. Some of
Right.
our kids don't eat at home until almost 1 o'clock, so their schedules is sort of kind of messed up. But she was awarded that about it, she was awarded these bag of chips because of the fact that her and my other daughter gets counseling in school, and that's what her counselor does is that she awards the kids if they do well in their session. It happened in the morning when she sent to her counselor, and then my daughter, you know, was told, okay, wait until the end of the day or eat them at lunch or whatever. Well,
Right.
she waited until the end of the day to eat the chip. She got caught eating this chip, and the substitute decided that, oh, I'm taking your recess away. And then on top of this, let me take a breather right quick.
Yeah.
When it was time for dismissal, my daughter decided not to put on her jacket. Keep in mind, my daughter has a disability too, and she's on IEP. And on top of that, she also has medical. Got she can have a seizure, asthma. It doesn't matter. She has medical issues. So, long
Right.
story short, this teacher decided to leave my daughter unattended, meaning that she was the only one left in the classroom because she had a meltdown. I get the reason why she had a meltdown. She was being punished because she got caught eating her award that was given. But at the end of the day, this substitute, as they claim, they saying that she asked for help, but I don't know what the results of that other teacher that supposedly gave her a suggestion on what she should do, but she
Uh,
decided to leave my child in a classroom by herself, which she could have got into anything. Keep in mind, my daughter puts stuff in her mouth that does not belong in her mouth all the time. Um, she's
right,
speech impairment.
right.
Um, she has, she has seizures in the past. So, and she has asthma. So anything could have happened to my child while she was left forever. How long? Because I don't know how long she was left
Right,
unattended.
right.
But here it is. How I found out. Here's the killing part. How I found out is that my other daughter, which goes to the same school as she does, was looking for her sister. As I was in a parking lot or whatnot, she came outside. The substitute teacher finally acknowledged that she was looking for her. And she was like, "Oh, your sister is in the classroom crying. You can go get her if you want to." What
Uh,
you mean if she wants to? She's a child. Meaning that you should have carried your ass and went to go get her if you wanted to.
right.
My daughter was punished for, doing little, things like that and whatever because she got a couple of office referrals for being on her phone. She was scared that she was going to be on her phone, get in trouble again for calling me to let me know what was going on. So she thinking she
Gotcha.
was about to get punished, and I said, "I damn them if they punish you, because if they punish you, they gonna really deal with me for real." So she
Right.
didn't get in trouble or anything like that for calling me to let me know. But here it is, she had to go search for her own sister in the classroom while crying. She called me. It's like, "Mom, my sister, I'm not gonna give my daughter's name, but I'm like, my sister's up here crying in the classroom." And I was like, "Well, where's her teacher?" She's by herself. Jontel, I flipped. When
I
I
know
pulled
that's
up, I said, "Okay, a second, I would sit up here and find me a parking spot or whatever." So I'm looking for a parking spot because keep in mind this is around dismissal. So I got the call like around 2:34. So she could have been in unattended for about a good 5 to 10 minutes. Who knows? Because substitute teacher came out sometimes a little early. So here it is. I finally found a parking spot. I see this teacher. The substitute teacher is not her actual. The substitute teacher outside without my child, but it has other kids. She thought it was more important to get other kids outside to their parents and leave my child unattended. Okay. So she about the punishment, about the chips and everything else, getting, caught, and she knows better and everything else. And I told her, I said, "That's not the fucking point. You left my child unattended, knowing that she has a disability by herself." So here it is. When I went into the office, because I'm storming into the office, you know how it was, mom. It, so I stormed in the
Mhm.
office. I immediately demand talk to the principal. When the principal was there, I had to talk to the dean of students, and I'm seeing my daughter as well as my goddaughter and her friends coming down the hallway with my carrying my 6-year-old child who has a disability. She's in the first grade, by the way, everybody. And she's sitting up there crying. The first thing I said is, "What is wrong with you?" And she was like, "My teacher mean. I hate
Uh,
her." That's how my
wow.
daughter talks. So, I mean, you heard her before. Until
Mhm.
so you know how she's a speech impairment. So,
Mhm.
I gave the statement to the dean of students, and they kept on trying to justify about the chips. I said, "Fuck the chips. She left my child unattended by herself. I don't care about that. I can deal with that later. I care about more so about my child being left there unattended." And so they took my statement, supposedly had took her statement. I made complaints with the board. I end up going to the board meeting, speaking out, and letting it be known what was going on. My 11-year-old daughter also spoke or whatever. And actually, we're watching a clip now. This is another parent that was speaking out about Bukto and how they had some type of, I guess, gun threat and everything else. And she was talking positive about Bukto. I we got our pros, we got our cons, they say. But here it is. I'm sitting up here making a whole lot of complaints, and it's like I'm still waiting. This happened around the same time that Dad was speaking about STEM, around the same time frame, right before Christmas break. This incident happened,
Gosh.
and here
Yeah.
it is, almost going on a month, and it's still no resolution on what they're going to do
Right.
to her. I know I could probably sue or whatnot. I don't. It's not even about a lawsuit. Fuck a lawsuit. I want her life. And I mean, everybody's
Mm.
sitting up there with surprise and how I said it, because she's a black African American teacher, and I have to make a statement. I don't care what color your skin is when it comes down to my kids. I have worked out so many issues going on within the schools. I dealt with the bullying issues with my daughter. I dealt with my daughter coming home crying every day, talking about how her teacher, her substitute teacher, by the way, was yelling at her and how she was mean. But this one, I can't let it ride. You, I can't. Anything could have happened to my baby. She could have got snatched. She could have had a seizure. She could have had put something in her mouth that didn't belong in her mouth. She could have had an asthma attack. Anything could have happened to her, because this is everything that's on her IEP. And those who don't know what an IEP is for children that has a severe disability, including a severe medical issue. And my daughter is one of them.
Mm.
It's, if they're struggling academically or whatnot, this IEP protects them to be able to still get the education that they are supposed to have and what is deserved for them to have. She is not to be treated any type of any type of special matter just because she has a disability or
Right.
whatnot. They cannot discriminate when it comes down to anybody, even if you wasn't a kid that has a disability or whatnot. So it's like, come on, Akron, we got to step it up. We got to step it up for these babies, because of the fact that they're losing a lot of trust in us, a lot. And I know it's not just going around. And that's my baby right there. And
Oh.
um, I really want to, give a shout out to her because of the fact that she stood up and spoke about her baby sister.
Right.
We can't say names. One thing about it at the board meeting is we're not allowed to say names. We can give out the school's name. We're not allowed to give out the teachers' names or the administration that we're talking to, unless we want to go into executive session. No, I want the whole world to know what is going on in our school system, because I want them to step up and learn how to care about our babies,
Hmm.
but it's a lot. I know I'm not the only one. I know Akron is not the only school district that's going on, but it's just the fact that we got to step it up. And, still to this day, my daughter still says that she hates the substitute teacher. Oh, I can give out a similar name. Her name is Miss Gully, by the way. So those who don't know me, I will give out names over the social media, but her name is Miss Gully, and if things don't get together, I would display her all over social media too.
Hmm.
So if you don't know me, you know who I am, and you know that I don't back down. So, but yeah, we're still waiting. I put a complaint in with the State Board of Education as well, and come to find out that takes 60 days for the complaint to go through. And like I said, I'm still waiting on Akron to see what they're gonna do and go from there. If I want her license, I gotta go through the state. But just to where she can't work for APS, I gotta go through them. They still claiming that they're investigating. But if it was a kid that did something destructive and stuff like that, they'd be quick to hurry up and put that camera in our face. But what's taking them so long to do it for a substitute teacher that put a child at risk?
Right.
And she knows that I'm on her. I don't care or whatnot. I forewarned them how I am about my kids, and that's all I can say is that they've been warned. They've been warned,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna keep on speaking out because it evidently is some advocacy that needs to go on, and I'm one of the ones that I would sit up there and definitely speak up for our kids. So if you got a child out there that's on an IEP, if you got a child that's going through some issues at APS, let's come together and I'd be more than happy to help out.
Let's work together and accomplish our common goals that we have. You know what I mean? These are basic needs that need to be met, and it's not too much to ask. We also have to change the culture if we want our kids to have quality education. We have to be better parents, meaning all of us together, and looking out for one another and coming together and say, okay, well, I care about my child's education. You
Hmm.
know, and so like I see you doing that part,
It
and
takes a
other
village to
people
raise a kid, but the thing is that in order to take that village, some people have to step it up and understand the
that part,
parents coming.
that part.
Right. If a parent's coming to you saying, "Hey, I seen your kid doing such and such or whatever," okay, what are what should we do to make sure that they not keep on doing such and such? Like my daughter's godparents or whatever, and my sister, if they came and told me that my kids were doing something they know that they ain't got no business doing because they know how I am, I'm getting on her. She doesn't have no backup. But at the end of the day, it
Hmm.
takes a village. I don't care if you have kids or not. Stop hurting our kids. Stop letting them see things that they should not be seeing and observing to. And let's put these kids in the right places in the right state of mind because this is our future. Do you want your future to sit up here and be pushing you down a wheelchair and they don't care how if you fall or not out that wheelchair?
Right, right.
These are going to be our doctors, our attorneys, our prosecutions, probably our president. It doesn't matter. This is the type of generation that is going to be end up taking care of us one day.
Hmm.
And I'm going to show them all the love, even if they bad. I don't care if they bad. I don't care what type of wrong they out here doing. I'm going to give them all that love and that somebody else probably did not give them because they didn't give a damn about them.
It don't matter what they're going to be. They're going to be here. They're going to be the next. So we have to give them all the kind of love and vibes that they need
Hmm.
to be the best them. I couldn't agree with you more.
Yep, you can lock them up, but you can't throw away the key forever. And those who are doing life in prison, they still around. They still around. They still our future. They still got a voice just on the inside.
Yeah.
So we got to stop thinking that imprisonment for every black man or black woman or Asian, I don't care what color you are, is the solution to everything, and it's not. Mental health is going on in our schools now too, and that's one thing I can honestly say is that I have noticed that social workers are coming into our schools, which is great. But what else can we do besides social workers to make sure that these kids are safe and getting the education that they're supposed to have and need? More
Hmm.
programming is definitely needed in our schools. These kids are bored. Put them to work. Pay them. Do something. Do something. Because I remember when
Talk
I was
about
in
it.
school, we got paid. We got paid for babysitting. We got paid for little camps. Even though if it was another adult around, they got paid. What happened to that? They had
Right.
after school programs to where you didn't have to pay or whatever. Certain teachers or volunteers came in and they did arts and crafts, they did basketball, they did volleyball, whatever was around at that present time. They did it, and they did it for free. We don't have to charge every time that these kids want to do something or whatever we want our kids to do. Daycares is already costly. Why are we paying triple daycare? So, but yeah, Jontel, I had to get that off my chest. Thank you so much again for having me. But Akron has
That's
gotten,
what we here for. You already know.
yes, Akron got wild, wild west. And this is why I call Akron Act Right, because these
Act
people
right.
up here don't know how to act at all, and they need to get right. So
Well, I mean, this is just one part of it. Like you said, there's so much going on out there.
it is
This is just one
sad.
aspect of it too.
Yes, it's very sad out here, and I'm praying to God that we can get it together and come together as one because this is our
For real.
this is
Well,
our
keep
future.
us posted. Um, keep us posted on this story. Would
I'm
really
gonna be following
appreciate
up.
us.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm gonna be
yeah,
following up on it.
definitely let us know.
You guys posted on my daughter. I'm keep you posted on that story. I'm praying that we can get some legal action going on around here. And like I said, it's not always about the money. I don't like going after the schools about the money. It's just I want them to step it up and keep our kids safe and stop the racism and you know making sure that no child should be ever left alone in a classroom by themselves unattended, especially at
Hmm.
6 years old and the first grade, whether they have a disability or not. No child should ever be alone in a classroom. Anything can happen. Somebody could have came in there because it's around dismissal time and took my child. And I'm just gonna keep it flat out. I'm blessed that nothing was not done to her or that she put, or that she consumed anything and put herself in harm's way as she was having a meltdown. Because I'm not gonna lie, I would have destroyed that in school in a heartbeat if anything would have happened to her. And it takes a lot of energy to consume yourself to not doing anything crazy. But I would tell a judge, prosecution, anything. If I don't care when it comes down to my kids, I would went to jail. My
I know
husband
that,
might have went to jail.
bro.
I mean, I know I got backup plans, but yeah, our family don't play that about our kids at all. And my family is already ready to, if I don't keep them posted, if they don't do anything, they ready to go crazy and cuss the school out and everything else. So, because I will be one of the ones that sit up there and protest by myself. I don't care.
I know that's right, yo. For
In front of
real.
the school. I would sit up there and put her picture all up on social media and on bulletin boards. I don't care.
Hmm.
They better ask about me. I try to tell them, but evidently they was not listening. So they figure it out. But nice talking to you, Johnson, once again. I greatly appreciate you guys
Of
know who I
course, you know
am.
you.
Who knows my voice knows that I'm a very much of a strong advocate and I'm gonna keep on fighting for our children and everything else that's
Yes,
on here.
yes, you already know. Appreciate you coming on, and you're always welcome. Please come back and update us again. Uh, and yeah, we actually will be back soon to discuss more about Akron a little later. But thank you for this talk, and I appreciate you getting off, giving your testimony because more people need to. We need to be talking about this more. So, yeah,
Yes, yes. I'm gonna try to get a couple of more people to come and join with me and stuff like that because it does need to be talked about. There's a lot of good things going on here too. I just don't want to focus on the negative things. There are some good things that happen here, but we do have to focus on the some of the bad things so we can get down to the nippy gritty of things and hopefully make things better.
hmm.
I love the people. I don't like Akron, y'all, but I love
All right,
y'all. that's that's just that's real. Everybody keep on saying I love my hometown. No, I don't
right.
like it here, but I love some of the people that I have. met and that I ran across. So that's what it's about. I love my hometown.
But,
But it was nice
all
talking.
right, love.
All
Let's
right.
get out of here.
Yes.
As always. All right, love. Be safe.
You too.